Hey everybody, it's me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creation, welcoming you to today's Take Two Tuesday event. For those of you who are new to a Take Two Tuesday, well, I'm Stacey, howdy. It is where I take product from these fabulous manufacturers, Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations. I pair them together and we do a fun make that usually is technique based. This is an opportunity for me to show you some tips and some tricks and maybe some inspiration where you go, hey, I can do that. And yes, you can. Our Take Two Tuesdays are also an opportunity for me to highlight independent retailers all around the world, globally, because the Stacey Park brand is available globally. So if you look under the description of this class today, you'll see that we have a couple independent retailers, a couple online retailers who carry the Stacey Park brand. Now, my March collection is currently available, but I'm going to be working with some of my May collection that does not launch until May 1st. So you're kind of getting a sneak peek ahead of time. And the stencil that I'm going to be using today has a coordinating stamp that is already on the market. It has already launched. It was part of my March collection. So, me being me, as my collections build, as I release them, I'll be introducing product that works with other product that has already launched, giving you more opportunity, more chance to play, more chance to be creative, more chance to just have it all right there where it so seamlessly works together. Today it's all about a stencil. I am going to be using some of my Fanciful Framelits, my ovals from my March collection, but today it's all about a stencil from May that does have a coordinating stamp. So I can't wait to show you. I can't wait to share. If you're joining me during the premiere at 5 p.m. sunny California time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, we are live chatting right there. Over there, there's a live chat going on. Say hello, hello. Please click the like buttons because the YouTube gods, they like the like button being clicked and I appreciate it. If we can make those YouTube algorithms happy, that makes my heart happy. So I'm gonna tilt down. I'm gonna show you some of what we're gonna be doing. I have beautiful samples to show you at the end. I'm gonna walk you through some of the product. We're gonna get started. I'm Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, Couture Creations, and this is a Take Two Tuesday featuring fabulous products and highlighting independent retailers globally. Are you ready? Me too. All right, down we go. All right, glasses, hello. Now, I am my own camera person, so bear with me as I zoom on in and tilt on down. We may be very crafty and creative, but we're not very tech savvy. Look at this, isn't this so? Now this is a twofer. What we're gonna be doing today is actually a twofer. And I've got my Fanciful Framelit in there. Can you see the embossing going on? I've got my new stencil, but wait till you see the rest of the samples. I want to walk you through what we're going to be using. Here is my ovals, my Fanciful Framelits, and the reason they're called Fanciful Framelits is because the way they are designed. You have a die, then you have an embossing feature, then you have a die, then you have an embossing feature. The idea is that you can use the die all by itself. You can use the die and the embossing feature together, or add another die in there and make a frame. Most of the time, well, as far as I can see, anytime you have an embossing feature or a stitched element, a dotty element, it is built into the main part of the die. So you buy a set and all of them are going to be dotty or all of them are going to be stitched. This gives you the opportunity to have options, whether you use the die by itself, the embossing, or you pair them together. So my Fanciful Framelits have already launched. The first 4 have launched. I have 2 more for May, which we'll be working with a little bit later on. And And always remember, when you see this teal on the side, that is Stacey's color. That tells you, without even having to see my name, if you see that teal banner, the border going down the side, you know that it's my product. This is also something that has already launched. This is my gotcha tool. And the way it works is it lets you keep your dies right on your making space. Look at that. I go bam. It's so useful. It's so satisfying. That noise is just so satisfying. So I can keep everything on my maker's space. When I need it, I just pull it right on off and I don't lose anything. So those are from my March collection, but from my May collection is my stencil. So a brand new stencil, and it is a full A5 in size. Say hello, gorgeous, look at you. You are going to be able to do A2 cards, A6 cards, 5x7 cards, slimline, mini slimline, and being that it is a single layer stencil, when you see the price of this stencil for this size, it is absolutely a holy smokes artichokes moment. I love the pricing. And again, you see the teal down the side, and this is part of my May collection. It's my Cosmopolitan Uptown Adornment stencil. And the reason we added the word adornment to it is because there is a Cosmopolitan Uptown stamp set that has already launched. Full A5 in size, just like the stencil. And these two were made to be two peas in a pod. They're meant to go together. So if you already have the stamp, the stencil is just a few weeks away. And if you are in love with the stencil, you may want to come back at a later date and pick up that stamp as well. So next week, I'm going to be using both of these together. Today, I'm just going to use the stencil, but next week, I'm going to show you how to pair the two of them together so you see how I build on my collections with Sizzix as we move forward through the year. It's very, very exciting. I love absolutely everything. Now today, I'm also going to be working with, put these off to the side, I'm going to be working with my stencil and stamp tool. I use this a lot. It is a twofer. You can use it as a stenciling tool. You can use it as a stamp platform. This is a tool that wants everybody to come play in their sandbox. It is user-friendly for everybody. Yes, you can use other people's stencils with it. Absolutely. Sizzix sells converters and it's easy peasy. Today, because I'm using it as a stenciling tool and not a stamp platform, I can take my lid off and look at this, watch. Up, down. No clicking, no popping, no trying to pry it up. It's that easy, on and off. I can put my lid to the side because I'm not going to be using it as a stamp platform today. I'm going to be using it as a stenciling tool. This little green piece of happiness is an alignment tool, and this is what makes this tool magical. This allows you to take your layering stencils and align them up perfectly every time. Now there's two little nibs up here at the top, and that is where you store your alignment tool once you're done using it. The alignment tool has these fabulous little holes that correspond to the lid, and it just pops right in there. And I can have my stencil here. Or if I'm doing a 12 by 12 layout and I want to do a border, I can lower my stencil and have it done here. There's no lip on either side, on any of the sides of the stencil and stamp tool, so you can do as big of a piece of paper as you want. And the stencil that I'm using today is a continuous stencil. So let's just put a piece of black paper just so you can see. So if I had my stencil here, and I have the two little holes built right into the stencil, Now, if you had a stencil from somebody else that doesn't have the holes, again, you're not going to want to pop holes into it. Sizzix sells converters that just literally attach to the stencil and have the holes built in, and you can use those converters over and over again. There's 10 of them in a pack. Don't pop holes, just get the Sizzix converters. This is going to fit right on in. I know I've got it right because I can see the Sizzix name right here and the SKU number. They make it super easy for you to know which way is up. If I can get it, there we go, Sizzix and the SKU number. Put it right back down. And again, this stencil is a continuous stencil. And this is where this alignment tool really comes in handy. If I stenciled this and then I wanted to move it over, I can. And it's going to line up perfectly. And move it over and stencil and line up perfectly, and move it over and stencil and line up perfectly, right? That's pretty cool. Then I could move it this way and stencil and line up perfectly, and I'm able to pull it up and look to see what I've done without having to tape or put a magnet down. It just lines everything up lovely. So a continuous stencil, I think this might be the very first continuous stencil that Sizzix has ever had. I don't think they knew it was going to be a continuous stencil when I designed it, but I did. And again, it comes out May 1st, and the price is wahoo kachoo. So today I'm going to start with that, and I just want to stencil super easy for you. I want to just show you what it looks like before we get into our make today, because our make today is all about the metallic flake. Did you all know Sizzix carries metallic flakes? Yum! So I'm going to start super easy. I just want to show you how the stencil, what the pattern looks like, and then we're going to get into the fun. Now, I'm going to take a piece of paper. I've got white smooth paper. I'm going to butt it right up against my alignment tool. I'm going to take my stencil. I see that my Sizzix is facing me. I want to say, can I get a shout out? But that's not what I want to say. Can I get a reflection? Can I get an oh yeah? There we go, oh yeah. And there we go. I'm gonna push it right down onto those two little nibs. And you're saying, but Stacey, what's keeping that paper from not moving? See how easy it was to pull it up? I have sticky grid. Sticky grid comes with your stencil and stamp tool. That's what's keeping my paper from not moving. It is a oversized giant Post-it note that is in an A4 size, the same size as my stencil and stamp tool. You can see that I've stamped on it and I've inked on it. Doesn't that look lovely? That was from last week. But it still sticks. It really takes a long time for your sticky grid to not stick anymore. I'll tell you, the more you do this with your hands, which I do all the time, just to give you an idea of how it sticks, the oils from your hands will transfer, or embossing powder or glitter will make it not tacky anymore. However, when you need a new one, and it's going to last you a really long time. If you think you're going to be changing it every month, that's not the case. It really does last a long time. But when you do need to change it, you just pull it up, and Sizzix sells replacement sheets. I believe there's 5 to a pack, and it's somewhere between, I think, $10, $11, $12 for all 5. Easy to do. Now, let's put see, it's still attached. Let's just put it right back where it was. I can pop it right off those little nibs. I can put my paper right back where it was. Give a little press. My sticky grid's gonna hold it in place. Pop these down onto my little nibs, and I am ready to stencil. And because it's just a single layer stencil, it is easy peasy. I'm gonna just dive right in and go for it. I am using my Stacey Park inks, my dye-based, premium dye-based inks from Jacquard. They are water reactive. They blend like butter. Is that it, butter? They blend like butter. No, that's as smooth as butter. What blends really well? Well, my inks blend really, really well. They don't make mud. I have the re-inkers, and I have 12 colors out so far, but come July, there'll be 6 more colors. So I think that's all the yellow I'm going to use. And I'm just taking my blending tool and blending right into it. Now, remember what I said about this alignment tool. It really is useful when you're doing your layering stencils. But if I want to see what I've done, all I have to do is lift it up and I can see where I'm at. If I want to put it right back down, I am realigned perfectly to continue. I don't have to tape anything down. When we're using stencils and you have to use a magnet or tape and you want to see what you're doing and you lift it up, then you have to realign it again. Make sure that you've got it exactly where it was, put the tape or the magnets back on it. That is not the case with this tool. You're just up and down and you can see what you've got. Let's see, I've got some yellow. Let's do some teal. So again, my Stacey Park inks with Jacquard. They're way different than a lot of, well, I don't know anybody else's inks who are quite like mine. My inks will also let you use embossing powder. And since they don't make mud, it's a little bit of happiness. Now let's put some Plum Crazy in here. And then I think I'm gonna blend in some more yellow. And just make some pretty blends. Now, this is an alignment tool, but you can see that my fingers, I'm having to hold my stencil. While it aligns everything up, it doesn't keep it, it won't stop it from maybe buckling. That's something that you need to always have your hands available for, and you just walk your fingers down as you're working with your stencil. Do I think I'm done? Well, I can look at it and see if I'm done. How do I feel about that? Ooh! I think I'm done. So it can be this way, it can be this way, but look at the blends and look at how easy it is to stencil. Now again, there's a stamp that coordinates with this. And all of the white space that you see, that stamp is going to fill in. So they are meant to work together. Love how easy this is. Love how universal this stencil is. And having that additional stamp just gives you more opportunity to be creative. Next week, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play with the stamp and the stencil. Today, I really wanted to highlight the stencil. Now my inks are water soluble, they're water reactive, so they clean up super easy. And like I said, they do stay wet long enough, depending on how you're using them, to throw embossing powder down, but they don't make mud. And that's what I love about them, is the ease of use, the colors that we're able to achieve, the saturation of the ink, which is so strong that you are able to kind of desaturate that ink to make lighter colors out of the same shade. And then, yay. And again, continuous. See how it has no side here or over here? Continuous. We can add to it and make it go. We just have to line it up. Let's see, let me take a small one. Let's take this one and let's go this way. And here. And let's get some yellow in there. And let's get some teal in here. And let's get some Plum Crazy. And then I can lift up, and all I have to do is pattern match. Nope, that's not a pattern match yet. Nope, that's not a pattern match yet. There's my pattern match. And now I can continue on. First time Sizzix has ever had a continuous stencil. And it's yours come May 1st. And it coordinates with the stamp that's already launched. So then I can go back. Nope. Nope. There's my starting point. Nope. Nope. There's my pattern match. You see it right when you line it up. It's done for you. The tool allows it to be done for you. They make it so simple. And now I've taken this A5 size stencil and I've actually made it any size you need it to be. And I have pattern matched the whole piece. I could have done a 12 by 12 piece of paper because I can pattern matching. If my paper was bigger, I could go down. I could do a whole sheet of paper. First time Sizzix has ever had a continuous stencil. And I know you're gonna love it. Okay, so let me put my lids on and let's move on to play with some of my metallic flakes from Sizzix. So Sizzix has had these metallic flakes for quite some time. It's not a new product, but they're so beautiful and they are an inexpensive product for how much you get. I love them. They only come in 3 colors. It is just 3 colors, but holy smokes artichokes, what you can do with those 3 colors. So, so the metallic flakes come in a gold, a silver, and what they call a rose gold. They still calling it rose gold? I think they are. Yep, they're still calling it rose gold. Bless their pea picking hearts. That's as copper as you can get. Love you everybody at Sizzix, but this is as copper as you can get, not rose gold. So when you're buying it, or when you're shopping for it, or when you're bringing it into your retail store, because you should have these for the price point that they are amazing. Remember, it's more copper than it is rose gold. To use these today, I'm also going to need to use an Essentials glue pad. Essentials glue pad, okay? So it is a specialty glue that allows you to be a 2-way glue. And what that means is that the glue never fully cures until you put something on top of it. So I'm gonna be using this with my Sizzix metallic flakes and my stencil. And we're gonna be using it on black paper. Now, before I get there, I want to talk to you a little bit about a hack. And this isn't a hack that's going to work for everybody, but I want to tell you about it. And this is where sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Hey! So Sizzix, they have no idea what I'm going to do in my Take Two Tuesdays. These are my videos here to help really promote independent retailers and show you the product and give you some teachable moments. So Sizzix sells this tool right here, and this is a die cleaner. So you roll it over your dies to get all of those little fallouts and those little bits and pieces out. And included in it comes this little foam pad. So you take your die after you've die cut and you put it down on this little foam pad, and then you roll her over the top of it, and all of those little fallouts that you don't want to sit there and poke to get out come out. It's kind of nice. Yeah, I'm happy, you know, it works, absolutely. Eventually you may need to replace the little top piece, that the little piece that gets all those fallouts out. And so they also sell, and you may not even know this, they also sell replacement bristles for your brush. They sell replacement bristles for your brush, because just like when you're washing your dishes at home and you've got one of those for your glasses, eventually you do need to get a new one. So they do sell it, and then you get 2 additional to go in your tool. But you also get another, come on, there we go. You get another foam pad. Now, I don't know if you actually need another foam pad or not. So I thought to myself, Stacey, I know you need a foam pad to do what you want to do today, because I need little pieces of it. So I'm going to cut this one up from the set that comes with the replacement bristle heads, because you already have one in your original tool. You already got it. Came with it. But you may need to get those replacement bristle heads, and you still get another foamy. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the foam, because you may be going, oh no. And some of you may be going, oh, I needed those bristle heads anyway. I needed to order myself a couple of those so I have them handy for my tool. And yeah, I think I will take that extra little foam pad and cut it up like Stacey did. These are the options you have. So let's get started. I'm gonna tilt on down, and I really wanted them to sell this all by itself. I'm working on it. Okay, down we go. So I'm gonna bring over my stencil and stamp tool. My alignment tool, and this time I'm going to be working on some black paper. I think I'm just going to cut it into quarters. So I've got my alignment tool. I'm gonna put it right back on. I've got my black paper. I'm gonna put it on. Now I can do it this way or stick into my sticky grid. I'm gonna take my brand new Stacey Park Cosmopolitan Uptown Stencil launching May 1st. Click it right into those 2 little nibs. And this is where the Essentials glue comes in. So the pad comes empty, and this is a bottle of glue. It's not a re-inker. When you get it, should you get it, Sizzix does not sell this. This is a Sukaniko product from Imagine Crafts. So a lot of stores carry this. You should be able to find this almost anywhere. When you get it, you don't empty this bottle onto this pad. This pad is completely dry, nothing on it, just the foam. You only put as much glue as you need for the project that you're doing on this pad when you need to do your project. So you're not going to take this and empty the whole thing. It's not a re-inker. Today though, I'm going to be using it with a dauber. And it's the same thing. I'm not going to take this glue and put a ton of this glue down on my dauber and then hope that, you know, first off, I don't want to use too much of it and then come back 6 months later and say, gosh, there's no more glue left. What happened? I'm only going to use as much glue as I need to do the project at hand, which right now is only this size. That's all I need. So I'm going to take a little bit of my glue, and it is a two-way glue, which means it's never going to fully dry unless I put something on top of it. So I spread it around a little bit, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of go in as if I was stenciling. But I am stenciling. I'm just stenciling with glue. Put a little bit more. A little dab will do you. You'd rather use too little and have to add a little bit more than to add so much that it's wasted. You can't put the glue back in the bottle. Now, you may be saying, Stacey, it's a single layer stamp. Why did you need to use the alignment tool? You could have just put it down and your sticky grid would have held it in place, or you could have been holding it and you would have been fine. Well, if I was using an ink, perhaps that would have been okay. But I'm using glue and I want to see exactly where I've put it. This isn't an ink where I can clearly see, oh, my blue is here and my purple is there and my yellow is here. I can't see exactly where the glue is. So if I lift this up, then I can see where my glue is. Then I can see where it is and where it isn't. That's even more important, where it's not. And because this is an alignment tool, I know I can put it right back down. I'm going to line up perfectly. You're not going to be able to, if you tape it down, get it down without moving it, and you don't want to have the glue get all over the place. Oh, no, no. You don't want to make a mess. And I can go in. And now I can say, oh, I saw where I hadn't added glue, and I'm going to come back in and add my glue now. Is it getting on my sticky grid? Yes. Is it a problem? No. It's going to be a-okay. Now I can lift again. And I can still see I'm a little light there. Put it right back down. Maybe a little bit more glue because I'm a little light in that one neighborhood over here. And just kind of smoosh it on in. Now you don't need it so thick that it's shining back at you. A matte finish is really all you need. Still right there, okay. Where did I say? Right, second row up. Okay, second row up. But see, I wouldn't be able to do that nearly as easy if I had to untape or unmagnetize and lift up. Little itty bitty drop just for that one little neighborhood. Okay, now I'm good. I think that'll be fine. So you can see, it almost looks like a watermark. Now the most important thing about this is letting it go tacky. Super important. You got to let this go tacky. You don't want to use it too soon. If you still see any areas you're not happy with, you come back in, and that's what makes that alignment tool so special. All right, I'm going to peel it off and I'm going to let it be. Now this can sit for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, until I put something over the top of it. It's not going to fully cure. The glue isn't going to fully set. Now, if you leave it for 3 weeks, yes, of course, it's going to fully set. But you can absolutely walk away for 30 minutes and not have a problem. Because I need it to let it go tacky, I don't want to put anything on it right now. The glue has not cured to the point of being ready. It needs to dry a little bit. It needs to tack up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to put another one on and we'll do a second one. A little bit smaller. Of course, I could move this down and put it right there. So I lined it right up to the top of where that stencil starts. And I'm just going in here and trying to get it all over. Now it's water soluble, so you're going to be able to wipe up your stencil easy peasy. Kids can use this because it's water soluble. It's very forgiving and just a tool that really people don't know much about this glue. They've seen it maybe at their local craft stores, but they didn't know what to do with it, or they bought it. I get that a lot. I've had that glue for years and never taken it out of the box. It's time. Let's take it out of the box. And I'm just going to go in here and give a nice rub. Let's lift up and see what I've got. Oh, a whole area right over there. Line it up. So I missed this whole little area right over here. Another little drop. And while I'm doing this one, it's giving time for my other to go tacky. Okay, let's see what we do. We may use it. Haven't decided yet. Put it over here and bring this one back. Let's put this one over here and bring this one back. Before I do that, let's just wipe this off. Baby wipe, easy peasy. Glue's going to come right off. You can see I'm supporting it with my hand underneath. Okay. Let's see what we've got. So I can see that it's still got a little bit of a shine on it, which is fine. But I've given it a little time to go tacky. I can certainly give it a brush or a little waft to dry it a little faster. You're not going to use a heat tool to dry it. And now I'm going to let's take a piece of white paper. I'm going to take and start applying some of my gilding flakes, metallic flakes. They call them metallic flakes. So inside here, inside my jar, is this little lid. You don't want to lose this little lid. You always want to be able to put it right back on and then put your top lid over. I will tell you, you don't want to use these in a room that has a ceiling fan going on. You don't want to sneeze. They're very, very light. Like if I just do a little bit of a blow. Can you see them moving? Very, very light. and they tend to grow. You're like, grow? Yes. See, they're sold by weight, and as they're compressed in, when you start to move them around, they start to aerate, and amazingly, it seems like they grow to twice the size of what's in here. So you may want to get a separate little Tupperware to put them in. Just know that as you move them, as they move around, and they will eventually grow, and you think you've got more than you had, it's just amazing how they work. Now I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm just going to put a bunch of little flakes all the way around. The nice thing about these is if I don't use all of them, anything that I dust off, I can put back into my jar, even tiny little itty bits and pieces. Now this is a hunk. Look at that. This is a big old hunk, and there's probably oodles and oodles of sheets in this one piece. So when you see a piece like that, know that there's probably lots of individual sheets that make up that one big hunk. I'm just going to take it and kind of put it around. And because my glue has gone tacky, where the glue is, where you see the glue, that's where my flakes are going to stick. And where you don't see the glue, they are not. Now, this is where this little foam piece comes in. I cut mine. It was extra. I got it when I needed the replacement little bristle heads. It's extra. I cut mine. And this is what you use to tap those metallic little flakes down and to move them around. Tap them in place and move them around. Tap them in place and move them around. I can grab all of the little bits and pieces and pull them down to places that don't have any. Tap them in place and move them around. If I want to add another little sheet somewhere, I can go in and grab. See, this is multiple sheets. And tap in place. And then move it around. And see all this extra? All of that extra is going to get put right back in. All of this extra, I'm going to save it and put it right back in my little, because it's good. I can still use it. And my little sponge is doing my trick for me. I don't need to have a stencil brush. That little sponge that we cut up from having that extra little foam that came with our bristles for our clean it out tool. I don't know what they call it. What do they call it? They call it their die brush tool, I believe. I can pick up all these little pieces and put them right back in. A little goes a long way with this, so one jar of flakes is going to last you quite some time. And now I've got my flakes in my pattern. What do I want to do with it? I don't know. Let's see. So I've taken a little makeup brush. Take the glue off my fingers. Little makeup brush just to clean my area. And you can see I didn't make a big mess. Beautiful flakes. And now I can decide how I want to decorate. So I wanted a twofer out of this one. Let's see if I can get that done. I'm going to grab oh, that's as close can be. I'm going to grab one of my okay, there we go. So I'm going to grab one of my Fanciful Framelits, and this is the die element to the Fanciful Framelit. It also has a smaller embossing element, which is right here. So I can use the die by itself or the embossing element by itself, and I'm gonna use both of them. And I've got them just hooked right onto my gotcha tool. That's what you hear it clicking to, is my gotcha tool. That's sitting right on my desk, and that way I can grab what I need when I need it. So I'm gonna bring over my Big Shot machine. And today we're gonna be using a Squishy and Knock Knock. Squishy, Knock Knock. They call it a transfer set. And we use it when we're going to be doing any kind of embossing with our die. Not embossing with embossing folders, but embossing with our die. So let me bring over my machine and let me go back just a little bit. And the first thing I'm gonna do is die cut. Gosh, that's pretty. First thing I'm gonna do is die cut. So I have got my base platform that comes with your machine. I've got my solo shim that comes with your machine. I have got a cut plate, and you can see that it is getting cut into quite a bit, which is exactly what we want. I've got my paper face up. I'm gonna put my die where I want it, which I think is right there. I've got my do not cut plate, which is just a plate that I try not to cut into. That way it just keeps rolling through my machine easy because it's not getting warped at all. And I'm gonna send it through. And all I'm going to do is die cut. It's an open frame die, which means it's just a one pass die. It's not intricate at all. And just like that, I've cut my two pieces. Put a little bit right there. Wait. Can I push that in? Let's see. Okay, there. One, two pieces. Now, I'm gonna take and use my, I'm gonna use some of my Opulent paper from Sizzix. This is gold Opulent paper. There are 5 different specialty finishes to it. You get 10 sheets of each specialty finish. I've got a mirror and a pearlized finish and a metal finish and a matte finish and a glitter finish. And I think I'm gonna work with the matte for right now. Oh, maybe this one, maybe this piece. And this piece. Nope, that's not the one I want. I want a matte. Ooh, that piece. So I've pulled out 2 different sheets. You can see the matte finish versus a pearlized finish. And I think the first one I'm gonna do is for this one right here. So I wanna matte this with something. I'm gonna grab the larger embossing element that goes with this one. So there's the larger embossing element, and here's the smaller. I'm gonna just use the larger embossing element. And let's cut it into, let's do this one. Grab me some scissors. So I want to add this detail. I want to add this detail into my paper, but I don't want to cut the entire paper out. Not yet. I haven't made up my mind what I'm doing yet. So I can put that detail straight into the paper, and that is where your knock knock and squishy come into play. So let's bring my machine on back. And I still need my base platform. But because I'm not die cutting, I no longer need my solo shim. Comes with your machine, but I can put that away for right now. For right now, I can put it away. Then I'm going to put my plate on down, my clear plate. Or do I want to go into it? Nope, let's go into it. I'm going to put my do not cut plate, or my knock knock plate, my squishy, my paper, my die face down, and either a do not cut plate or a cut plate. It makes no difference what goes on top. So I'm going to add this embossing element into it. Again, my base platform, my knock knock, my squishy. Now these two tools are sold together as a set. They're very affordable. Once you own them, you don't have to replace them. You'll own them for a lifetime. And what they allow you to do is take a die that has an embossing element and use that embossing element. And now I'm going to send it on through. And if I do it right, as the plate, as the sandwich, which is what we call this, as my sandwich hits the roller, it's going to add enough pressure that that silicone pad is going to compress down and get longer and longer, and you can see it starting to come out the back. There we go. I've added an embossed element. But you know what? I also added a debossed element. So now it's up to me. Do I want to use the deboss side or do I want to use the emboss side? You know what? Let's just do it one more time, and that way I can use both. Maybe I will just use one piece of paper today. And I'm going to go one size down. So I've got a slightly larger emboss and now a slightly smaller emboss, and it's the same sandwich. Base plate, your knock knock, because it sounds like a knock knock. Your squishy, because it squishes up. Your paper, your die, and your top plate. So I will have the embossing element in two different sizes. Do I want to go back? If I want to, it's not going to hurt anything. emboss, deboss. All right, I think I'm gonna use the deboss on this one and the emboss on that one. So this one I do wanna cut out. So I'm gonna bring over the slightly larger die that goes with it. And now I can cut out my image. Bring my machine right back on over. I'm die cutting, so my solo shim comes right back on over. Anytime you're die cutting, solo shim has to happen. My cut plate, but I'm not embossing, so my squishy and my knock knock, I don't need it right now. Put my die down, line it up, so I can see that debossed edge. I'm gonna say, boy, I'd give anything to stand up over the top of this. I'm gonna die cut it out. We're just gonna go for it. Now I've cut out my oval with that debossed edge, but if I flipped it around, I'd have my oval with an embossed edge. And this is going to fit perfectly right there. Perfectly right there. Yay! In fact, I think I'm going to tape that in place right now. So I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive tape. And tape it right on down. Then it's up to me. Where do I want to go from here? Do I want to do a simple black mat around it? Do I want to use my bigger and do even a bigger one? Maybe a bigger embossed piece? I'm going to try that. We're going to do one more embossed piece. This is with the matte finish. So as I'm building, I'm deciding what I think I want it to look like. I still have this piece that I could trim out and use this as a frame somewhere. I certainly wouldn't get rid of it. I'm going to bring my machine on over. I'm going to bring my base platform. I don't need my solo shim because I'm going to be embossing. Now the difference between this paper and this paper is that this is white on the back while this is double-sided same. So when I want to emboss this, I have to line it up just a little bit different. I'm still going to put my knock knock down. I'm still going to put my squishy down. The difference is the paper that I want to see on my finished project is what's going to go against the squishy. See, I didn't have to think about that with this one because it's the same on both sides. If you had double-sided paper, you don't have to think about it. You get the embossed and the debossed all at the same time. But this, I want to have that embossed feature, and it's not double-sided. So I put that beautiful gold against my squishy. Put my embossing element. Bring over a cut plate or a do not cut plate. It's not going to make any difference. and send it on through. And if you want, bring it on back. And now I've got that beautiful embossed element all the way around. And I can cut that element out. I need to use my solo shim. Bring over my cut plate. Line it up. Or do I want to cut in? Oh, decisions, decisions. See? Decisions, decisions. Maybe I cut into it. Oh, I think I'm going to do that. So my videos are not edited or scripted. We kind of just go for it. I'm hoping it doesn't move. Maybe I should tape it on down. A little bit of maker's tape, yeah, just to be on the safe side, just so I'm sure that my die doesn't move. A little bit of maker's tape from Sizzix. Just to make sure it stays in place. Now let's send it on through and die cut. And you're like, but you just embossed, won't it harm the embossing? This isn't embossing like a 3D embossing folder. This is just a design element. Maker's tape comes right off. Then I can put some black behind it. Then I can put, oh, it's the same size, darn it. If I did that, oh, and then I did that with this one. Only instead of the black, I brought over the gold. Oh, see? I have options. I have oodles and oodles of options. Too many to choose from. Let's get this on some black and get it matted down. Too many options. Then I have this piece that I could use this one. Nope. Nope, I'm gonna mat there. Pull off. I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. straighten up my cuts. No, I'm not going to. My head is going, well, you could do this and you could do that. And then I could take it and just mat this one and call it done. Too much black. Maybe a little bit less. And mat that on there. Yeah, I think that's good. Simple, but good. So embossing, debossing, the dies do it all for you. Simple, but good. Let's just get this on down. You would do a better job of taping down. I'm just going to get it on here so you can see. And trim it on out. And it can go this way, it can go this way. It's got the stencil, it's got the gold flakes, it's got the debossed edge in the opulent paper. But what to do with this one? So I think I'm gonna trim this down just a little bit up here, just a little bit. And I think I'm gonna trim this side on off. And I think I'm gonna center this. Center that. And then I can put the gold in the middle. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna finish this one. I think that looks good. I'm gonna put some tape down just to hold it in place. Bam. So this was all out of that one piece. That one little piece that I made. It's a twofer. Oh, this isn't making it anywhere in my trash can, but that's okay. And then I think I'm going to straighten this cut out. Chop this down just a little bit. Put that back here. tape that down so it stays in place. And now I'm just using scraps of stuff. I'm using the leftovers, the odds and the ends. So let's map this down. Gosh, I could even pull this stuff up that I already have down and just mat it down with the tape that's already on it. Mat away. Trim it out. And we got 2 for the price of 1. So I've got this one here. I still have this piece to use, but I am going to cut just a little bit of black. Just a little piece of black. Send it on through and back. And put that right. Nope, don't like it. We'll stamp a sentiment in here in black. That's what I think we're gonna do, is we'll stamp a sentiment there in black. So I was able to do a twofer. Center from here is right here. I was able to do an emboss and a deboss. Pretty, right? And easy. And those gold flakes are amazing. So earlier I did this one, where I've got the flakes going all the way around, and I used the stencil to get it done. I've got a deboss on my mirror gold opulent paper and a sentiment from one of my earlier stencils. But then I also did this one. Again, here's my stencil with my metallic flakes from Sizzix that are such a great price point. I've got an embossed element on my opulent paper. I've trimmed it all around. I added a sentiment from one of my earlier stamp sets. And in no time at all, you can make a whole collection of these. You can do 6 cards with just three pieces of paper when you're doing this, because you're going to use the negative space that you would normally maybe throw away. But no, this piece came from the center of this one. And I did 2 separate orientations. I used the emboss and the deboss. Then I came back and we played with this. I need to finish this one and put a sentiment in there. And again, the emboss and the deboss. But then just the stencil by itself. Stencil done in black. I inked it with black and then went back and added color. The stencil was done in black. This isn't a stamp. This is the stencil. Here's the stencil done in color, similar to what I did here. Just the stencil. But here is the stencil and the stamp together. And next week, that's what we're going to be playing with, is the stencil and the stamp together. So the metallic flakes, super fun, really affordable. They go a really, really long way. the Opulent paper from Sizzix. All of this product is currently available at your independent retailer. This is not new product at all. Been around for quite some time. I went ahead and I used the extra foam that they gave me with my replacement heads. I cut it up, and that's what allows me to put that metallic flake down with ease. Super easy. I'm able to just go in and put it down. And then once your metallic flakes are down, they don't come off. Wow, right? And we used my Fanciful Framelit from March and my Cosmopolitan Uptown Adornment stencil releasing in May. All right, you guys. What do we think? Wahoo Kachoo? We did a little bit of everything today. We did some inking. we did stenciling with ink. We did it with our metallic flakes. We die cut, we embossed, we debossed. We did a little bit of everything today. So if this is something that made your heart happy, by all means, check with those independent retailers that we are featuring and see if they have this product. If not, there's online retailers listed in this YouTube for you, and I know they have it. And of course, there's always Sizzix.com for my March release. I am Stacey. I'm a licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations, and this is our Take Two Tuesday for today. Thanks for joining me if you were here for the live chat. I hope we had a great time. I'm sure we had a great time. But thank you for being here, and I will see you next Tuesday when, again, we pair the stencil and the coordinating stamp together. That way you see how they work so seamlessly together. Until then, bye everybody.